r/AskReddit by Redmond ETS. What's the most small town thing you've witnessed? We have a village Facebook page. Every time the ice cream man drives into the village, the entire page goes ballistic. People send live updates of where the van is and which direction he's heading. The ice cream man has started accepting DMs so he knows which streets to go down. I lived in a small town. When I moved there, people would ask, "Whose house did you buy?" Moved to a small town. 30 years later, you are still the new guy. Been 5 years and I'm still an outsider. My town opened a strip club when I was about 18. My friends and I were all pumped to go. For some reason we thought it'd be strangers stripping, and not Judy from math class and the blonde Aubrey that used to work nights at Wendy's. A guy robbed a bank, and everyone knew immediately who he was, and the teller got mad at him. A local bank was robbed, and one of the tellers told the police to bring her a yearbook from about 10 years earlier, and she would be able to point the robber out. He had been in the grade before hers in school. Left the grocery store and forgot a bag. Another customer brought it to my house. The traffic on the main street of my town is so sparse. 2 drivers going opposite directions can stop and talk to each other for a few minutes without causing any problem. I live in a small town and people will do that even if there is traffic. My fiance took me to a popular festival in his tiny hometown. Some guy nodded and waved at him on the street. I asked how they knew each other. Fiance told me he was the only other guy in town with the same name as him. Also, his dad told him not to sleep with a particular chick because she might be his half-sister. I'm from a town of less than 2,000 people. When I worked at the grocery store there, people would often drop off stuff for my family members because they didn't want to drive all the way down to our house. I no longer live there, but recently got a call from my daughter. She had been stopped for speeding and handed over her license and insurance, which happens to be in my mother's name. The officer goes, "Hey, you're Donnie's granddaughter. I ain't gonna write you a ticket, but I'm telling Donnie when I see him tomorrow cause we're going fishing." She replied, "I think I'd rather have the ticket." Known criminal ran for sheriff. Numerous arrests and convictions over his lifetime. His campaign slogan was, "I know the jail inside and out." Edit. Since folks have shown interest, thought I'd add the most recent event. I heard Bert got a DUI on Thanksgiving, so I asked him the next time I saw him what happened. He said, "Mama told me no more drinking at the house, so I went drinking in the truck." Haha, that's great. Did he win? He did not. From what I recall, he was arrested at the polling station on election day for being drunk in public. Bert was a weird dude. My dogs got out while I was working. The police called my niece's elementary school, she was a 5th grader, to get her to round them up and take them back home. Lived in a town of about 5,000. A woman walked into the DMV on a Friday, saw that there were 3 people ahead of her, and left to come back another time when they weren't so busy. When we were kids, my family hated doing any type of shopping with my father. Everyone pretty much knew everyone else, but he used to be a teacher, so he had some sort of relationship with everyone. We'd end up being in a single store for 3 hours because he'd end up catching up with pretty much everyone we encountered. 45 people, a group exactly one shy of the entire adult male population, sitting in lawn chairs, on a fence, and on car hoods. They were patiently waiting outside of the house of the 46th adult male, who had hit his child hard enough to fracture a rib earlier that day, and was known to smack his wife around a bit. The best part of the story was when he threatened to call the police chief. "If you don't all leave, I'm calling Georgie." Chief Georgie quickly replied from near the guy's back door, "Present." I didn't get to witness the beating itself, apparently it happened a couple of days later. But he definitely spent the whole night in terror. One spring, the front page of the local newspaper's top headline was, "Deer finds grass in town name." The fact that someone had a picture of a deer who found some grass meant that winter might finally be over, which is the big news that everyone cares about. I taught English in a small town in Japan for a couple of years. One day the principal said they were cancelling classes for the afternoon so the police could come give a safety talk. As a product of the American school system, I was thinking, drugs? Gangs? STDs? Bicycle safety. Some of the students had been seen riding two to a bicycle through town. We were reminded that bicycles were for one person only. Also wear your helmet and always signal your moves to drivers. Town drunk was paralyzed and used a motorized wheelchair to get around. I was driving home one Saturday night and said town drunk was passed out in his wheelchair doing circles almost directly in the town square. Had to call his brother, who came and picked him up on a rollback truck. Strapped him down and drove off into the cold dark night. A parade that consisted of like 3 goats and 4 children. I grew up in a town of 150 people. Moved away, but I keep in touch. A friend of mine posted a picture on Facebook a few months ago, tagging another friend. Hey Bubba, your pig got loose and is running around the Dollar General parking lot. Come get him. People were more surprised that they'd gotten themselves a Dollar General store than they were about Bubba's pig. My hometown got a McDonald's in 1976. The town had a parade for it. The first ATM in our county in 1995 made front page of the paper. I once competed with other kids to chase and catch a greased pig at a church pig roast. I won my age group. My prom was in a barn. 2 old men playing checkers in front of general store. It was in a rickety small town. This actually happened in a big town recently, but it was quite funny and small town-ish. Some chick stole a moped and the entire local police force went on a low to medium speed chase with news coverage. My grandmother's neighbor just came over with a pie. It wasn't a holiday, they just do that occasionally. I thought that was sweet. A party in a potato field. It was only lighted by car headlights. Growing up in a town of 2,500 in the 80s and early 90s. Several times in 3rd and 4th grade, we had to evacuate the playground and run inside because the farmer next door's bull got loose again. Well-known local crime wave, the inmates used to break out of jail, go pick up a pizza, and bring it back for everyone. This ended when they finally built a new jail. Our Chevy dealership never locked the new cars on their lot. Want to go consider options after hours? Just climb on in and see how the interior feels. I distinctly remember triplet calves being on the front page of our once-a-week town newspaper. On designated days, all the farm boys would drive tractors to school. Pulling into the parking lot in the morning, it looked like the set of Footloose or something. The radio station announces townspeople's birthdays and will say their name and job. For example, it's Janice Smith's birthday, the 5th grade teacher. That's all folks. Thank you for watching. If you like videos like this one, why not like and subscribe for more? Have a nice evening.